Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one that really hit me hard while reading. It's about love, family, and the heartbreaking choice some people are forced to make when the people who raise them can't accept the person they love. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. It helps us share more real, emotional stories like this one. I've been dating this amazing guy for almost a year now. We're both 24, and honestly, being with him has been the happiest time of my life. He's thoughtful, respectful, and treats me better than anyone ever has. It genuinely feels like I've found the person I want to spend my life with. When we first started talking, I had a strong feeling it would turn into something serious. So I opened up to my parents about him, including the fact that he has a young son from a previous relationship. At first, they seemed surprised, but they stayed calm. They told me it wasn't their ideal situation, but ultimately, it was my life and my decision to make. I respected their opinion, took time to think, but my heart was set. I chose to keep seeing him because of how great he makes me feel and how strong our connection is. Unfortunately, once they realized that I wasn't changing my mind, their attitude shifted completely. They became cold and distant. The support I'd always felt from them started to disappear. They questioned why I even told them in the first place if I wasn't going to listen to their concerns. They said things that really hurt me, like they'd never support our relationship or that they wouldn't accept him at family events. At one point, they even said it felt like they were losing their daughter. Things got more intense when they started saying I was creating tension in their marriage and that I was disrespecting everything they'd done for me. It didn't stop there. They also started making sarcastic comments, calling me things like stepmom in a mocking tone. At first, I tried to handle it with maturity. I encouraged them to meet him and have an open conversation. I didn't hide anything. I'd tell them if I was staying at his place, or if he gave me flowers. He surprises me with flowers every month. It's the sweetest thing. But eventually, they told me they didn't want to hear about him anymore. They didn't want to know where I was going or who I was with. So I stopped sharing. I distanced myself from home because the energy there became too heavy. Lots of tension, cold silence, or subtle jabs every time I walked in the door. Now, no matter what I do, whether I try to be honest and involve them or keep things private and give them space, it just feels like I can't win. Like I'm stuck in a situation where every choice leads to more hurt. But here's where things get even more difficult. Right now, I still live with my parents, and I'm doing everything I can to save up and move out to finally be financially independent. They've already brought up the fact that they're still supporting me, saying things like, "We pay your insurance," or "You live under our roof," using it as a way to justify their behavior. And while I acknowledge their help, I also know that moving out is probably the only way to take away one of their main arguments. The tension at home is almost constant. On the surface, things might look calm, but only because I keep to myself. I go to work, come home, stay quiet. Every couple of months, something triggers another blowout fight. And honestly, I'm just exhausted. These arguments aren't just simple disagreements. They're full of harsh words, sarcasm, and guilt trips. They say I'm ruining the family, making foolish choices, and destroying the future they envision for me. They've made it very clear that they will never support my relationship. Not now. Not in the future, and they don't even pretend they might change. They've said things like, "When we don't like someone, we cut them out. That's just how our family works." They've even given me an ultimatum. Either stay with him or stay part of the family. Then they start listing all the relatives they've stopped talking to because they disapprove of their life choices. My mom, in particular, has brought up her own difficult upbringing. She says that because of her trauma from growing up in a broken home, she can't accept my relationship or even be part of it. She and my dad have developed this us versus everyone mentality when it comes to our extended family, and they credit their past for it. But when I try to explain that this pattern of cutting people off might not be healthy, or that it doesn't make sense to say they love me unconditionally but still treat me this way, they shut me down. They say, "This is just how our family works." I've tried to speak calmly, to be honest, to explain how I feel. I've told them that I don't feel safe or valued in my own home, that I don't feel like they even see me as an adult who can make her own decisions. But every time I open up, it turns into more yelling, scolding, and, frankly, emotional pressure. And yes, I'll admit it, I haven't been the most patient with them either lately. All of this has built up a lot of resentment in me. I don't want to feel this way toward my own parents. I don't want to carry anger. But it's incredibly hard to stay kind when it feels like the love I'm receiving is based on conditions I'll never agree to. At this point, I'm torn. I love my family, truly, Ido. But I also want to stand up for the person who's brought so much joy into my life, and for myself. I want to set boundaries, build a future where I can breathe, and not feel like I'm walking on eggshells every day. I know they believe they're doing what's best for me. But if that best means controlling who I can love and making me feel small for choosing differently, I just don't think I can accept that anymore. Things came to a head the day after Thanksgiving. There was an alumni soccer game at my old school, and surprisingly, that week had actually been calm between me and my family. No big arguments, no tension, just a quiet stretch where I felt like things might be okay. My parents came to watch, and so did my boyfriend, though he stayed off to the side, away from them. He had been unsure about showing up, not wanting to cause any issues, but during halftime he decided he wanted to watch me play. It was sweet. After the game, I walked over to my family to say hi, and honestly, I froze. I had planned to just be upfront and say I was leaving with him. But as soon as I saw their faces, anxiety completely took over. I started stumbling over my words. I couldn't say what I needed to say with confidence. Eventually, I mumbled that I was going to hang out with him for a bit and pointed over to where he was standing. My parents didn't say a word. Their faces dropped, and without saying goodbye, they turned and walked out of the stadium. Meanwhile, I kept walking toward my boyfriend, heart racing. He and I sat in the stadium for a little while longer, talking about the game and just catching our breath. After that, we said goodbye for the afternoon so I could head home, shower, and relax a bit. But when I got back to the house, the coldness hit instantly. They wouldn't speak to me. I tried making small talk about the game, hoping it would help ease the tension, but I was completely ignored. The silent treatment said everything. Looking back now, I wish I had handled that moment better. I wish I'd spoken with more clarity and stood my ground. But the truth is, talking to my parents fills me with anxiety. It's something I've been working on, but it's not easy. Each time I try, I get a little braver, but it's still a struggle. Later that day, my aunt, who's only a couple years older than me and has always felt more like an older sister, came in my room. She could sense that I was upset, and at first, it seemed like she wanted to comfort me. But the conversation didn't go the way I expected. She told me my parents were hurt because they had apparently planned to take me out to lunch after the game, something they never mentioned to me at all when we were together. She said I should feel bad for ditching them and that I blindsided them. I told her I had mentioned, days before, that my boyfriend might be there. They hadn't responded well at the time, but they also didn't make a big deal of it, so I thought it wasn't going to be an issue. But my aunt continued. She said she doesn't think my boyfriend is a bad person, but no guy is worth this much conflict in the family. She kept repeating that my parents have always had my best interests at heart and that they've never led me wrong. And hearing that hurt. This is someone I trusted, someone who always had my back. Someone who used to say how strong I was for dealing with everything that's been going on. But now, it felt like she was siding with them, saying that all of this is my fault and that I'm the one who should back down. After my conversation with my aunt, I tried to explain more. I told her about all the ways my parents talked to me, the dismissive comments, the emotional pressure, the guilt trips. I asked her if she really thought that was okay. She paused and said, "No, it's not great, but you should try to see it from their perspective." That was the turning point for me. I started laying everything out, everything I've written here, everything I've kept inside for months. How it feels like I'm constantly walking on eggshells. How I've tried so hard to communicate, and all I get is silence or criticism. I explained how none of this treatment feels like love, not the kind that's supposed to come from parents. But instead of hearing me out, she just kept circling back. They're your parents. They care about you. They just feel like you're choosing someone over them. Again and again, as if their feelings somehow cancel out how they're treating me. Then she told me something that really hurt. She said that if she ever sees my boyfriend in public, especially around my mom, she won't be rude, but she won't go out of her way to be kind either. She said, I have to take my sister's side. That was it for me. I told her I couldn't continue the conversation. I grabbed my keys and left the house. Later that night, I came home and, once again, silence. No one spoke to me. That silence lasted for the entire week. Luckily, I had work and school to keep me busy. I wasn't home much. My dad would mumble a quick "hey" in passing, but my mom wouldn't acknowledge me at all. If I left the house, they'd sometimes say goodbye and "I love you," but there was no actual communication beyond that. One day, we had plans to see a cousin who was visiting, a rare family moment. I rushed home from work, but when I arrived, they had already gone. No message, no heads up. They make dinner together every night, sit around the table as a family, and I'm not included. I find out there's food on the counter after they've finished, because they send my brother to tell me. That's it. The only real interaction I had with my mom all week was when she criticized me about a vase I hadn't moved yet. Something small, something I had genuinely forgotten about. I apologized and put it away. But instead of moving on, she came back again and said I was sweeping everything under the rug and that I had been incredibly disrespectful. Today, I'm staying at my boyfriend's place, and I'm overwhelmed with anxiety. Even just saying goodbye at the door, I feel like it could spark another fight. It's like every step I take toward peace or independence is seen as betrayal. I feel stuck. I don't want things to be this way. I don't want to be at war with my parents. But the truth is, I've been trying. I've opened up conversations. I've asked for understanding. I've tried to set boundaries calmly. And I've gotten nothing back but rejection, judgment, and silence. Yes, I could probably be more mindful of their feelings. But for once, I want mine to matter too. I want someone to say, "Hey, this is hard on you too." But no one in my family has said that. Right now, I'm working on building the confidence to keep standing up for myself, to communicate clearly and without fear. My boyfriend and I agreed that we'll keep trying, that we'll offer one more chance for them to meet him before making any bigger decisions about cutting contact. But honestly, I don't know how to even restart the conversation when we're stuck in this silent treatment limbo. I'm just tired. If you haven't seen my earlier stories, I was in a serious relationship with someone who made me incredibly happy. We were together for over a year. We're both 25, and he has a young son from a previous relationship. My parents, however, were never able to accept that part of his life, or mine. From the very beginning, they were cold, critical, and emotionally distant. They never tried to get to know him. They made their disapproval clear through silence, sarcastic comments, and emotional pressure. Despite all that, I stood my ground. I chose him, defended our relationship, and even set firm boundaries with my parents, telling them clearly that if they didn't try to be civil, they would lose access to me too. I thought that would be enough. But in the end, it wasn't. We recently broke up. The pressure from my family, the constant tension, the emotional weight of being in the middle became too much. He told me he still loves me. I still love him. But he doesn't want to raise his son in an environment where hostility and disconnection are the norm. He said he refuses to repeat the patterns of dysfunction he grew up watching, and I understand that. Truly, I do. If my parents ever found a way to open their hearts and accept not just me, but all of me, including the man I love and his son, he would be willing to try again. But until that happens, he's stepping away. We're still in contact. It's painful. It's confusing, because nothing ended due to lack of love. But when love is forced to live in constant battle with guilt, shame, and judgment, it gets suffocated. Let me be clear, my parents didn't forbid me from dating him. They didn't control me, but they never supported me. They never showed a willingness to open the door, even just a little, to understanding or empathy. And as much as I tried to shield our relationship from their influence, it slowly chipped away at the foundation. At one point, I made the decision to go low contact with my parents and told them that if they couldn't be civil, I would cut ties entirely. That when my boyfriend told me, with sadness in his voice, that he couldn't be the reason I lost my family. He said he didn't want a relationship that had to exist in the shadows or in defiance of the people who raised me. Not like this. And so now I'm here, still living at home, since the plans we made to move in together are gone, living quietly, keeping my distance. My parents know we broke up. They know why. But there's been no apology, no effort to understand, no change. Just silence. A few basic words exchanged here and there, but nothing real. I'm grieving, not just the relationship, but the realization that the people who raised me might never fully accept who I am when it doesn't fit their idea of what's right. That hurts more than I can explain. If there's one thing I've taken from this, it's that love, real love, can't survive in isolation. It needs space, support, and at least some kind of acceptance. Otherwise, even the strongest bonds eventually break. If anyone out there has been through something similar or has advice on how to rebuild after this, I'd really appreciate it, because right now things suck. A lot. And that's where things stand today. A relationship full of love, broken not by a fight between two people, but by everything and everyone around them. Let us know in the comments. Do you think the parents will ever come around? Or was walking away the right choice? If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We post real-life drama stories every week. Until next time, take care of yourselves and choose peace over pressure.